Chelsea Football Club are world champions, baby.
World champions.
Club World Cup winners. Just destroyed, dominated, obliviated PSG. Paris Saint-Germain, the supposed best team in the world, 3-0 on today, Sunday, July 13th. Welcome to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. This is a video episode. We're in the same location for this one, so the energy is going to be high. Obviously, Chelsea's high off that victory. Welcome to the show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where we are pumping out content all the time. So let's lock in. Jim, what do you have to say? I mean, this is your squad, your boys, world champions.
This is the best day of my career as a Chelsea fan. Up the Chelsea. London's blue forever. You can never say London is not blue after this one. Luis Enrique, fraud. Donnarumma, fraud. Hey, Noni Madueke, where you at, bud? Imagine leaving Chelsea and then a few days later they win a trophy to become the world champions. If guys don't want to lay bricks, they're not going to be part of your squad. Some quote like that I just butchered that Reece James reposted when guys like Mason Mount left. I'm just calling out all the haters because it feels so good to be the best team in the world. And I can say that right now. Whether it's true or not, Chelsea are the best team in the world right now. They just beat PSG, who were the champions of Europe. Everybody says European football is the best in the world. So guess what? That's how it is right now. And I will be insufferable for the next month at least because Chelsea are getting a gold patch on their kit for the next 4 years. And that only means one thing, that you're the best team in the world.
Yeah, well, you deserve it. I mean, Chelsea beat PSG, like you said, the reigning champions of Europe. They beat tons of Brazilian teams, some of the better teams in South America on the way to the final. I mean, some of the better teams in the Americas in general. I mean, we won't go into a deep dive at how MLS fares versus some of these Brazilian and Argentinian teams, but yeah, Chelsea win the Club World Cup, and it's a big day for Chelsea fans. I got my Chelsea kit on as well. Jim and I were down at the pub down the street watching the match, and actually saving the pub really by logging into DAZN with our own accounts since they didn't even have it, even though they advertised the Club World Cup. So we really saved the pub. All the Chelsea fans there basically carried us out of the pub on their backs. I mean, what can you say? We saved the day, and rightfully so. I mean, we saw a domination, really an utter domination from the get-go. Chelsea just destroyed PSG. PSG hardly had the ball, it felt like, and they, had a couple of good attacks in that match. But, I mean, Chelsea was the better team through and through for that full 90 minutes.
And that's the crazy thing about it, right? Because Chelsea go into this match as huge underdogs. Let's be honest. I talked about it all week long in multiple previews I posted. I predicted PSG to win. But on the way to the pub, the vibes were high because when you're an underdog, not only do you have nothing to lose, but you're going to play free. You're going to play with energy. You're going to have fun no matter what because really, it's a win-win scenario. You either win against the best team in the world or you go out having played your best, having fun, and if you lose, nobody's going to look at you different. And that's why heading in, as I said, the vibes were high. I was just feeling it. The energy was good. It felt like Maresca had a good plan coming in. His quotes were tremendous coming in. Reece James, everything he was saying as captain was phenomenal. Chalobah had some quotes. Colwill, Palmer, all these guys, you could tell they're young. They just don't really give a fuck, for lack of a better phrase. And that's what I think was best about this Chelsea team coming in. And you said it best. They dominated. The way they set the tone early was so insane. I don't think any pundit could have predicted that. Any expert, anybody could have predicted that. Maybe except Enzo Maresca and the Chelsea players.
No, I agree with what you said. I mean, one, this was a different PSG team that faced off against Bayern Munich. I'll just say that. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but the main thing I wanted to say to start right now is who is the man in an Enzo Maresca suit on the sidelines coaching Chelsea FC? Because this Chelsea team throughout the Club World Cup, and I get it, it's a different style of play when you're playing these Brazilian teams. It's a different style of play. Even when you're playing a team that presses hard like PSG, although they didn't really press hard today. My point is, this Chelsea team and their style of play in the Club World Cup, even with the interviews that Enzo Maresca has given throughout this Club World Cup, it's like he's a different man. He's coaching them and letting them play with so much freedom, like a young team should, with a chip on their shoulders, but also with the underdog mentality. And that's how Chelsea needs to be playing. And that's how they played throughout this whole Club World Cup. So I really hope that continues on into the Premier League. And I get it, the style of play is different in England, but yeah, I mean, Enzo Maresca, for all the things that I have to say about him in terms of what he says to the media, in terms of how he sets up this team, he did it all right in the Club World Cup. There's no denying that. He pressed all the right buttons. I mean, even this lineup, you had a guy like Gusto at right back and you had James in the midfield, where I would have rather seen James at right back and Gusto riding the pine. Gusto had a great match in this one, I thought. So just really, Enzo Maresca pressed all the right buttons and did all the right stuff in this tournament. And I hope that the expectations, while they will be higher for Chelsea next season, I hope that they still play with this freedom and this fluidity that you saw in the Club World Cup.
Huge props to Enzo Maresca. In his first season as Chelsea manager, to win 2 trophies, qualify for Champions League, make his team become the world champions, the best team in the world. I'm going to keep saying that. Chelsea are the best team in the world. It's just going to happen. But for Enzo Maresca to do that, I mean, are you kidding me? It's just unreal. It's just unreal. And yeah, I agree. His lineup, I didn't necessarily love it because I'm not the biggest Gusto fan in the world. You know, if you listen to this podcast, you know that. You know that I would want Gusto riding the pine basically at all times. And suddenly he becomes a key reason for the success. You know, the plan that Maresca had in this match, it was the plan I think he wanted in the Flamengo match. And I think the red card and some of those things that happened in that match maybe just kind of took the train off the tracks on that one. So maybe we couldn't see what he really wanted, but it worked out today against PSG. They had no answers for what Chelsea was giving, especially when Sanchez was playing the way he was. But, man, just credit to Enzo Maresca for sticking to his guns, trying new things in this tournament, using different players, Joao Pedro's of the world. Every button he was pressing, besides that Flamengo match, and again, kind of wasn't his fault. Every button he was pressing was the correct option.
Yeah, I mean, in this match, we already talked about Sanchez a little bit. I was tweeting about Sanchez man of the match. You know, I like to poke a little bit of fun because I know about how much hate Sanchez got all season on Twitter from the Chelsea accounts that we follow. But in all seriousness, Robert Sanchez played an outstanding match. I mean, to hold PSG to 0 goals, a clean sheet against, again, PSG, the best team in the world up until this match, you could say. 4 goals against Real Madrid, 2 goals against Bayern Munich, although, you know, a garbage time goal in there, right? But regardless, PSG, 5 goals against Inter Milan. I mean, PSG is a high-flying attacking machine. Robert Sanchez holding a clean sheet in this one. You have to give the man of the match to Cole Palmer just because Palmer played outstanding. 2 goals, 1 assist, I believe. But Sanchez, I mean, he's up there. He's Robin of the match, second best man of the match, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but in my mind, I see Joao Pedro being a huge key to unlock this attack. The way that he plays so fluidly, I think it allows Palmer to be more fluid. And Palmer, I mean, I guess he's technically a right winger in this match, but really played centrally so often. I mean, you see Palmer, some of those, at least one of the goals he scored and one of the goals that he narrowly missed was Palmer from that right side, similar to Michael Olise on Bayern, cutting in with that left foot and just banging a shot in, right outside the box, centrally. Palmer needs the freedom to drift centrally. He needs the space that, for some reason, PSG gave him in this match. I mean, I don't know what PSG's plan was there, but to give Palmer that amount of space, a guy that's as special as Cole Palmer is going to bury those shots 9 times out of 10. I think we saw the one miss early in this match that he'll have, but they continued to give him that space, and then he just made him pay. I mean, he buried PSG. He dug the grave and stomped on it and danced on it with those goals. So, again, I don't know what PSG was doing, but just special shots from Cole Palmer. No keeper in the world is saving those shots.
Yeah, we've seen that Cole Palmer is one of the best players in the world. He shows up in big moments, and he's at his best when Maresca gives him the freedom to do what he wants. We saw that in the Conference League final. Once he got more freedom, it unlocks everything for the team, and he can provide assists, goals, whatever he wants, whether he's on the right, whether he's on the left, playing centrally, playing up top, deep. Palmer can do anything he wants and be special. And what I like about his freedom with Joao Pedro and with guys like Enzo Fernandez, we saw that first narrow miss that Palmer had. That's the type of setup that can unlock against low blocks. When you have Enzo Fernandez in tight spaces, playing a ball into Pedro, flicks it back heel to Palmer, and he misses a shot that he'd tell you he should bury, but a beautiful play that was only foreshadowing what would come later. And that's what excites me going forward into the Premier League season with Joao Pedro, Palmer, Fernandez, Neto, all these guys up top. And then later, we just see the inevitable. Sanchez, who was great on the day with some long passes, plays one deep to Gusto, gets a shot blocked, but then smartly gives it out to Palmer, who buries the goal. Donnarumma can't quite get it. And then we see just a bit later, Chelsea win the ball back. Didn't have a lot of possession. It seemed like they had a lot of possession in that first half. They had 30%, which I'm shocked to see.
Oh, I would have told you 55.
They were just so dominant when they had the ball, and PSG were doing nothing. But Colwill plays a nice deep ball after winning it back quickly. Palmer, dominated PSG on this play.
Made him look silly.
When he gets the ball, I thought, remember I had told you multiple times.
It looks like he was passing.
I thought he passed it and it got deflected off Gusto or something. It was just a fake pass, wrecks Vitinha, and then all of a sudden opens up like the most space in the world possible.
Yeah.
Yards of space, and buries his second goal. The things that Palmer can do with the ball, unbelievable. And then later, after having 2 goals, says, okay, I'm just going to waltz into this space that, as you mentioned, PSG continues to give me. I'm going to just say, la-di-da, la-di-da, go right up the pitch. Because literally on this third goal, Palmer goes 100 yards up the pitch with nobody on him.
Yeah.
Says goodbye to the PSG midfield that apparently didn't feel like showing up on this particular play. And then slots a beautiful little ball into Joao Pedro, who has a perfect chip over Donnarumma, who apparently is just a terrible keeper, and I want him nowhere near Chelsea now. So,
yeah, well, here's the thing, and these two ideas might sound contradictory, but I believe that they're both true in this match. One, like we've been saying, and I'm comparing this to the Bayern PSG match because in my mind that was a great match through and through. Real Madrid was lower than garbage against PSG in that semifinal, which I did watch as well. But Bayern PSG, okay, when you have Olise and Kane, every time they touched the ball, they were double or triple marked versus PSG gave Palmer about 50 yards of space whenever he touched the ball. But here's the other end of that equation. Even though Kane and Olise were double, triple marked, they still didn't bury their chances against PSG. And that's why it was 0-0 at halftime, even though Bayern dominated that first half. Chelsea was 3-0 against PSG at halftime because Chelsea, outside of that one Palmer narrow miss, they buried their chances. And even though there was more space and the midfield was completely wide open and there was all this room around the box for players on Chelsea, you still have to bury the shots, and Chelsea did that, whereas Bayern didn't do that against PSG. So at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to is scoring your chances in these clutch moments, in these knockout best of the best matches.
Yeah, and I'd have to go back and look and see the specific reasons for why Chelsea ended up maybe in some better spots than Bayern. I get not bearing your chances too, but maybe it has something to do with where you win the ball, then you play it forward. Like I said, Gusto then having the wherewithal to pass. It seemed like Chelsea might have been better, their midfielders and attackers, at just running down the pitch and being in those good spots. I don't know. It's tough to say, really. I think there's some good fortune in where you win the ball and then you play it forward and like I said, find yourself in some good spots. I think Chelsea have had such a dominant midfield in this Club World Cup and dating back to earlier parts of this season. Moises Caicedo is the best CDM in the world. That really helps. Enzo's able to go forward as much as he wants. Gusto, who technically is midfield at times, bombs forward as much as he wants. And I think James did a great job of holding down the midfield, even though I didn't think he was the guy for the job. So I think when you have those guys in there, it just frees up everybody else so much. And maybe that's why Palmer was able to find so much space, because his teammates did a real fine job. I don't know. It's, like I said, it's tough to analyze in the moment when you're having so much fun watching the match, but I'm sure the tacticians out there will tell me precisely how Chelsea was able to do it with some good YouTube videos of their own.
Yeah, it was interesting just because I see, I don't know, against Inter Milan in the Champions League final, for example, against Real Madrid in the semifinals of the Club World Cup. You see PSG's midfield, Vitinha, Neves, Ruiz, they're dominating. And then even in the Bayern match, I thought that Kimmich and Pavlovic were more in control of the match. And I think in the Chelsea match, James and Caicedo just babied. I mean, for the most part, babied the PSG midfield. So, yeah, I don't know exactly why that is. And like you said, maybe there's some tacticians out there that'll, go in on it. But, it can't just be the Pacho Hernandez red card suspensions for PSG, because PSG has a world-class midfield. I mean, you watch a lot of these guys, too, in international play, or at least I do, and they look so solid. But, more so in this Chelsea match, I thought James and Caicedo were really controlling the game. In the Bayern match, it was a little different because you had Kimmich, for example, who had to do a lot of the defending because Bayern's line is so high. So Kimmich was kind of in a tough spot of I thought Kimmich and Pavlovic, again, had a good match against PSG, but the way that James is able to control a match is, again, obviously Palmer was the man of the match in this one. Sanchez was up there. I thought Gusto did great too, but I always say that James is Chelsea's most important player, and to me, he still continues to show his value in matches like this.
And I think he's really becoming a true leader. I think you hear what he's saying, what everybody says about him, how much everybody loves him as a person and a player and a captain. I just think that mentality is why Chelsea won this match. And whatever it is that made PSG not dominate as much, Chelsea in that first 10 minutes, as Enzo Maresca said, and as we could see watching the match, just went out there and set the tone the way they wanted to. And when you're in a major final and you go out there and do that, that is so huge, because you're stepping into that match and just saying, we belong, we're better, and we're going to show it. And that's literally what they did. I mean, I was obviously nervous the entire match, even up 3-0 at half. But at the same time, that first 10 minutes, I was like, holy shit, Chelsea are going to do the damn thing. And sure, there's that little part in the back of my mind that's like, man, this sucks. Like, we dominate the first 10 minutes and didn't score. Like, that kind of worries me. But then Chelsea just went out and said, don't worry about it, Jim, because we have your back. As players, we got the fans back. And that's what's so huge to me, is that they showed they can compete with the best in the world. And I was worried. I was really worried going into Champions League football, thinking Chelsea got top 4, they won the Conference League, but are they really ready for that next step? You can say whatever the hell you want about this tournament, but Chelsea are there. They're the best team in the world right now. And I'm just so excited for what this can bring. In this project, to win this right now, man, it's special. It's special.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you think about the Club World Cup, Enzo Maresca won a double in his first season as Chelsea football head coach. I don't think anybody had that on their bingo cards. And I mean, everybody underestimated Chelsea in this one. PSG clearly underestimated Chelsea in this one. I think everybody with a brain, no offense to Chelsea, would have predicted PSG to win this one.
We both did.
And here, by the way, I mentioned this. I don't know if I probably can't really see this on camera. I'll have to splice this in here with the power of editing. I'm giving myself some more work, but I was gonna post this before the match, but maybe a good thing I didn't. We got the text messages here, screenshotted, that I sent to Jim, correctly predicting the Club World Cup to a T. Outside of, I have PSG beating Chelsea in the final. And then I also had City going to the semifinal, losing to Chelsea. So those were my only incorrect predictions. But I think that I really think that PSG just underestimated Chelsea. I don't think they came out of the gate as hot, like you said, that first 10 minutes. I mean, and again, I'm going to keep bringing it back to the Bayern match because I obviously watched that one super closely. PSG was a pressing machine in that match. They basically said, Chelsea, here, have the ball, and then we're going to try to counterattack. And obviously PSG is still a deadly counterattacking team, but that seemed like their strategy. It seemed like just let Chelsea have the ball for a bit and try to go off the counter, whereas like they just weren't in that mode of like press, which is when they're honestly probably at their best.
I mean, yes and no, because they still had 70% possession. And they were pressuring Sanchez. I mean, he had to bomb balls deep. I don't know. I don't know if they underestimated Chelsea. Luis Enrique did say before the game that he respected Chelsea a ton, said they're a super talented team. They won the Conference League, all this stuff. It's interesting. I think it was a combo of maybe underestimating them. I think they were also arrogant. The Douye non-shot in that first half when it was 0-0, that is such an arrogant play, trying to find the perfect pass to his teammate and not getting a goal there. That, to me, reeks of arrogance. So I think it's a combination of arrogance, a little bit of underestimation of Chelsea, and let's not forget Chelsea just being the better team on the day. I think that is the most important thing. I think Chelsea just did have the better plan and played better. And, let's just not forget that, because that ultimately is going to be the reason that it's 3-0 and a dominant performance. So however you want to put it, those watching at home, I don't think there's any way you can spin it. Chelsea were the better team on this day. Are PSG the better team in total on the season? Maybe. But I don't care about that because Chelsea were the best team today, and that's why they won.
Now, we did see a red card in this match. We saw some scrappiness after the match by Donnarumma.
And Enrique.
Piss poor losers on the day. And I just want to get your thoughts on that. We had a lot of folks who were really chiming in at me in the comment section of my Bayern Munich PSG match where I said that those PSG red cards were dirty plays. A lot of people didn't like that. So how do you feel about the PSG red card, Marc Cucurella's hair getting yanked, as well as Donnarumma coming up to, I don't even know who it was. It was just the whole pile of Chelsea players after the match celebrating, coming up and getting in their face. How do you feel about a man who potentially ruined Jamal Musiala's season / maybe career, showing his true colors potentially?
Yeah, Donnarumma, there's no better word to describe him than just bitch. I mean, he was Chelsea's bitch today, and after the match acted like a little loser. I mean, a tiny, tiny man with no stones, and I completely lost all respect for him because when you get dominated like that and then need to do some of those petty things after the match, you're just a sore loser. And it's coming from a guy who's flipped many boards in board games over the years. So I know what it's like to be a sore loser. I know the pain that you feel inside. But you just need to realize you're a tiny little man. I was doing those things as a second grader and probably as a high schooler as well, but still not quite a man. And Luis Enrique as well. To try to throw hands at Joao Pedro, whatever Pedro said, maybe it was serious, maybe not. Probably just literally celebrating in his face. That's his right. When you score a goal on a team, you can celebrate in their face. That's completely fair game, in my opinion. And then let's talk about Joao Neves. Okay, is Marc Cucurela annoying? Is he a gnat? Is he a little mosquito that gets underneath your elbow and tries to bite you? And does he do annoying shit and flop around on the field? Of course he does. That's his game. That's what makes him so special. He also happens to be a world-class left back that can score goals and defend the shit out of you. And so to be down 3-0 and just decide, okay, I'm so pissed, I'm a sore loser, I'm just going to yank his hair. Come on, dude. That's just a red card. You're just a loser doing that type of shit.
Yeah, I had to kind of goat you into saying some stuff there because, we enjoy interacting with people in the comments. So leave a comment on this one if you think we're just full of absolute shit and Chelsea deserved to lose by 50. Let us know, because I get a kick out of that stuff, and I like talking to people in the comments. So,
and if you do comment anything against Chelsea, my direct response is going to be in all caps: Chelsea period are period the period champions period of period the period world! Exclamation, 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 and a bunch of emojis, because that's just the truth.
And the one thing I will say about this Club World Cup, we were inches away. We were a disallowed goal away from seeing Bayern Munich versus Chelsea, and we're gonna have to see it at some point. We're gonna have to see the champions of Deutschland play the champions of the world, because that is a match that I would be salivating over. And we missed it in this tournament, and we didn't talk a lot about that because you were away, I was away, and it just it's a bummer. But now the Club World Cup is over, and Chelsea are the champions of the world. Bayern are reloading, I would say, not rebuilding, but reloading and getting ready for another season. Chelsea now, after this incredible run of play, they're going to have to be consistent for a whole season. The expectations are going to be higher. Again, great tournament by Chelsea. I'm not taking that away from them, but they're going to just have to be consistent for a season. And we're going to need to see it in the Champions League as well as the Premier League. I'm not saying they're going to have to win both of those competitions, but they're going to have to put up a solid season in both of those competitions in order to be really in that upper echelon of teams, of conversations, of you name it. So I'm excited. Chelsea now has more of a target on their back than they did before, but that's what you want as a fan. I know it sucks, but Bayern is the best team in Germany. Every team goes up against Bayern, and they want to slay the giants. And that's ultimately what you want as a fan of this sport, because it means you're the best in the game. You want the chatter from fans. You want the whatever. You want the discourse. You want the hate. You want it all, because that means that you're the best of the best. And now it's time for Chelsea to go forth and conquer.
Trust me, I want all the smoke. I want to be the best in everything. I want to be the best in England. I want to be the best in Europe. I want to be the best in the world. I am the best in the world, me personally.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. I could have said it along with you.
I mean, truly, though, I have not had any of this as a Chelsea fan yet. We've kind of noted our journey as football fans. It's only been a few years now, and I've gone from 12th to 6th to 4th in the Premier League, and now I'm just starting to get my first trophies as a Chelsea fan. And I do say mine because we as Chelsea fans are proud. We love our team. We love our boys in blue. And that's just the way fandom is. It's the most beautiful thing about sports. It feels amazing. And so I want that. I relish being just a great team. It's going to be so different now this year, but it's going to be awesome. You have that target on your back, as you said. So it's going to be special. I welcome a matchup against Bayern. Champions League football is going to be insane this year, man. I'm just so excited. And I'll tell you what, if Bayern and Chelsea do play in the Champions League, I'll make a statement right now. You can bet that I'll do everything in my power to have my butt in the stands for that match, no matter where it is, no matter how much it costs.
That's a huge statement to put out there, but I'll be right there with you then. We're saying it here now. I told you this before, but I have a sneaking feeling that Bayern will be playing Chelsea in the group stage of the Champions League. So we'll see. That draw will be probably coming out at the end of August. At least it did last year, so I would assume it'll be the same this year. But
Yep.
I mean, do you got anything else to say about Chelsea Football Club or this match?
Little bit sentimental note, but I'm just so happy for Reece James. I think it's well overdue that I get a Reece James kit. My birth name is James, and I think it'd be special to have on a kit. I'm going to have to wait until we get not only a gold badge for this trophy, but front of kit sponsor. I got to imagine every single company out there wants Chelsea.
Auto Glass will be the first ones lining up.
I mean, let's be honest. Champions of the world, what more could you want if you're a sponsor? But really, I'm so happy for Reece James. He's been written off so many times, rightfully so at times, for being injured and having all these things going on. But people wanted him to be sold. Rumors he was going to go to Real Madrid, which he constantly denied. But you couldn't have really a better guy at the front leading your squad. So shout out to Reece James, the Chelsea boy.
Yeah, James is my favorite Chelsea player and one of the few guys who just you gotta like him no matter what team you're a fan of, what team you support. I feel like you have to like Reece James. But yeah, stay tuned here to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. We'll keep you posted. Just because the Club World Cup's over doesn't mean we're over / taking a break or anything of the sorts. I mean, the transfer market is already insane. I talked about last episode a lot of the rumors regarding the transfers around Bayern Munich. I'm not going to go into detail on that. I will just reiterate, I want to get Eze. I'd love to get Rodrigo as well for a left wing situation there. I think Bayern needs to go out and get Waldemata now, although if Stuttgart's going to be sticklers about it, maybe you go for someone else like an Nkunku if he's real cheap. Maybe you go for a Xavi Simons, who I didn't talk about last week, but that guy can play left wing or the 10 centrally. I think he's better centrally, so he's not on the top of my list. I don't think he's a true left winger. I don't think he plays left wing like Bayern needs or wants or company needs or wants. But he'd be a great fill-in for Musiala, a backup for Musiala / Kane even maybe, depending on what formation you want to do. I've heard he's got some attitude issues. Don't know if that's true, but that is one of the reasons, I guess, why Bayern hasn't been all in on the guy. But regardless, there's so many names. You still see Leao, you still see Diaz and Gakpo and all these guys. Bayern's not going to get Barcola or Williams. Don't know why they wasted so much time on those guys, but there's a lot of names out there, and a lot's going to be happening. So that's a long-winded way of saying stick with us, because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming forward. A lot of off-season stuff from us as well, pre-season, next season predictions. We're going to have to do one of those so we can look back at it at the end of the year, and just lots of good stuff coming. Even kit rankings, I think I want to do one of those.
Yeah, only response I have to that is Nkunku's price just went up $10 million. The guy's a world champion.
He didn't really play today. He played a little bit.
Still a world champion.
Yeah, well, we might be forced into taking him off your hands, so we will see. And again, this is a video episode, so go ahead, please subscribe to that YouTube channel. Comment below what you think about what we're saying. Are we arrogant pricks, or are we dead on the money with our analysis? You let us know, because either way, there's more to come, and it's going to be special.
It's going to be so special. Can't wait for the year.
That's where I think I'll leave it. I'll go ahead and sign off with the Mia San Mia.
Up the Chelsea, champions of the world.